1,999, 2,000, 2001, 2002. Oh, whew, a lot of reps. 2002 actually being the year that this came out. The version 1 V10 from Santa Cruz, 255mm of travel and a bit of a game changer. It's now in its 7th generation, so let's have a look at that. Ding! Oh, here we are. Awesome. Wow, so that's a size large 29er V10. It comes in the grey in 29, which you can get in large, extra large, and there's a medium actually as well. So medium, large, extra large. And then if you're wanting it in 27.5, it's a completely different frame. That comes in black, and that comes in small, medium, and large. Okay, so starting at the back of the bike, I'm going to show you some of the features of the new V10. You've got an adjustable chainstay length by 10mm. That's kind of set to personal preference, so the bike ships in its shortest position, and then you can flip this chip down here, and that takes you back, like extends your chainstay length by 10mm essentially. The bike comes with an adapter, which we get a close-up of there, and that means that you can switch the brake between the two chainstay lengths without there being any kind of problem with like pad contact or anything. And there is a different mech hanger as well to enable that change too. Okay, looking at some of the protection features, looking at the chainstay protector here, I saw a few versions of this back at Fort William last year in the pits. They've been developing that with the Syndicate. You can see it's got all these ridges on there, which is pretty useful, and basically it deadens the chain noise, so I think it's the quietest bike that you've ever seen. You might have seen that famous thing from last year of Vergier talking about it. But now it's quiet and peaceful and very fast, which is very nice. Other protection we've got on here, underneath here, there's a little bridge which stops your bushing getting covered in mud. You've got a defender up here as well, which stops the coil of the shock and the shaft of the shock getting all caked in stuff. You've got a protector which bolts on now. There's no glue or anything here. And you've got a protector here, which is like a shuttle protector if you're going to chuck it over the back of a pickup or an uplift or something. It's worth noting that all of these pieces bolt onto the frame, and this snaps onto the frame, so there's no glues, any kind of messy adhesives or anything. It's a really neat little set of protective features. It's really well thought out. Okay, at the front of the bike, we've also got these integrated fork bumpers. Again, they're bolt on, it's not stick on, and that stops your stanchion hitting your frame and causing any damage to either of those there. Another thing to note is it's still got full external cable routing for the rear brake, so any kind of brake changes or anything, if you need to do that at a race, it's super easy. The cable routing for the rear mech is internal through the front end of the bike, and that's in a tube, so it's super easy to route. You literally just push it through and it comes out the other end. There's no fishing about or anything. New for the V10, it's actually got an internal seat stay routing as well for the rear mech. Some people are not huge fans of that, but with Santa Cruz's experience building carbon, it's really easy to get it in. There's a big port at this end, and it just pushes through and it does come out super easily. Okay, so just looking at the suspension on the bike, it's designed primarily around a coil shock. You can use some air shocks, but it is really designed for use with a coil. It still uses a VPP, that's the virtual pivot point suspension from Santa Cruz. So really efficient pedaling bike. Any kind of flatter tracks or sprinty stages, it's probably the fastest bike on the market. And then there's got an all new kind of shock rate on there, and yeah, I mean Santa Cruz like use the V10 as their kind of test bed for all the suspension platforms. It's been tweaked a lot. Kind of this bike's been in development with the Syndicate for since kind of 2016, 2017 really now. So there's a lot of development into the suspension platform of this bike. It's probably the kind of best suspension platform Santa Cruz ever made, really. And you've also got the flip chip on the lower link as well, as you used to from the last couple of generations of bike now. So that's not a reduction in travel like some of the older bikes were, but it's actually it's a geometry change. So when you flip it into high or low, you're basically getting a drop in BB height, and you're also getting a little bit of a kind of slacker or steeper head angle that goes with that as well. So when you put it in low mode, it gets slacker. When you put it in high mode, you get slightly steeper. At the head angle, it's only kind of affecting it about half a degree. And in terms of head angle as well, because it's got the oversized head tube on there, you can use an angle set as well if you wanted to further kind of change your angle of the head tube, or if you wanted to change the reach of the bike as well. I know Chris King have kind of got something in the works, and there's other brands out there making alternate reach headset adjusters as well. So looking at the actual chassis, the frame itself, carbon front end and rear end, full carbon construction. As previously mentioned, the 29er comes in grey and the 27.5 comes in black, but that's not the only difference. It's not just kind of different adapters to make it take different size wheels. It is a completely different frame. Both frames developed in parallel with each other. So you are getting the best of both worlds there, rather than, you know, like a kind of bodge frame that takes both wheel sizes. So you have got to make that decision if you want 27.5 or 29. It's a bit of a personal preference. Obviously the 650 is going to be a bit more fun, maybe kind of better for bike park laps or shorter riders. And the 29 is going to be that race bike, or, you know, taller riders, going to suit you much better as well. The layup of the bike, Santa Cruz have traditionally made a CC and a C model, with the CC being a lighter weight, higher performance frame. With the V10 being developed so closely with the syndicate, particularly Greg Menard, they've really experimented with their layup, and they've actually had both the CC and the C kind of traditional layups kind of going through that prototyping process, and they've been underneath the riders as well. So a kind of very layman's terms way to describe it, this is not what the inside of a V10 looks like. But if you imagine that on a C frame, it's made up of lots of bits of basic pieces of carbon in that kind of shape. And then a CC frame would have lots of pieces in this kind of shape. And that's basically like, if you think that's the same kind of surface area, so you're getting the same kind of strength and stiffness out of it, but you've got a much kind of greater reduction of material in there. So you're saving a load of weight just out of the carbon itself. And an interesting thing that happened from that, we were talking to Marshy at Fort William, and he was saying that Greg actually preferred the dampening characteristics of the C level frame, but obviously they wanted to keep the kind of CC weight of the frame as well. So they've really kind of thought about this in terms of rider feel and strength and durability and ride characteristics and everything. So they've kind of gone down that route. I can't tell you exactly what's inside this frame now. I think that's a kind of closely guarded secret with Santa Cruz. But yeah, it's been really kind of well thought out, with a lot of rider feedback as well. Worth mentioning that with the launch of the new V10, there are new reserve wheels as well, specifically designed and developed with the syndicate for downhill racing. So they're going to be 29 only. So unfortunately for now, there's no 27-inch downhill rim. But basically the reserve wheels across the board, they're the strongest on the market. There's a focus on damped feelings rather than like a kind of a harsh feel that you can get from some carbon wheels. Very responsive in terms of your steering inputs. It tracks a line really, really well. So with the reduction in weight, you're getting quicker acceleration and deceleration. The hub that's spec'd in there is the Syndicate hub. So it's the red Chris King ISO disc hub, and that's a 32-hole hub drilling. So a regular reserve is 28-hole, whereas you're getting a 32-hole here. They use J-bend spokes, which is pretty handy if you do happen to pop a spoke. You know, somewhere that you kind of need to get hold of one. Straight pulls are a pain in the ass to get hold of usually. And remember, all the reserves have that lifetime warranty. So if you can break a rim, then Santa Cruz have got a policy of getting you a new wheel. Okay, so the bike's available as a frame set in either 27.5 or 29, or there's two build options as well. So there's an S or an XO1 spec available. Hit the website and have a look at the specs of those. If you need any advice or you want to build one up custom, which we do quite regularly on the V10, pop in store, give us a call, email us, drop us a message on Instagram. Any other videos you want to see, drop us comments below and we'll try and see what we can do with that. And hit the subscribe button. I'm Sammy, you've been watching Stif TV. Thank you very much.